Pythagorean Theorem C squared equals a squared plus b squared. Many students have learned the Pythagorean theorem as a squared plus b squared equals c squared. I prefer to teach it as c squared equals a squared plus b squared to emphasize that the quote c end quote must be the hypotenuse length or the equation will not work. Whenever I tell my students that there was a guy named Pythagoras, they laugh, of course, because that was a common name 2,000 years ago, and very strange to today's students' ears. Pythagoras came up with the brilliant Pythagorean theorem, and we honor him to this day for revealing what existed all along as nothing short of the glory of God. The fact that for any right triangle, the sum of the square of the legs is equal to the square of the hypotenuse. I like to write it as c squared equals a squared plus b squared, or hypotenuse squared equals leg squared plus leg squared, or hyp squared equals leg squared plus leg squared. Just to back up for a minute, there are different kinds of triangles. There is the acute triangle with all three angles less than 90 degrees. There is the obtuse triangle with one angle greater than 90 degrees. There is the scalene triangle with all sides different lengths. There is the equilateral triangle with all sides equal lengths and angles of 60 degrees each. There is the isosceles triangle with two sides equal and equal base angles. And finally, there is the gloriously wonderful 90-degree or right triangle, a triangle with one angle exactly equal to 90 degrees. Triangle sides have names. There are two legs, parentheses, like a human, end parentheses, attached to the largest angle and the hypotenuse, which is the longest side opposite or across from the largest angle. Since a right triangle has a 90-degree angle, the legs are adjacent or next to the 90-degree angle, and the hypotenuse is opposite or across from the 90-degree angle, parentheses, also called the right angle, end parentheses. The Pythagorean theorem illuminates that for a 90-degree triangle, the sum of the legs squared always equals the hypotenuse squared. Once again, mathematics proves that we are living in anything but a random universe. Students must be very careful to learn that in the Pythagorean theorem, quote c, end quote, is the hypotenuse and a and b are the legs. I try to encourage my students to quote c, end quote, parentheses, S-E-E, the hypotenuse. If this detail is not followed, then the brilliance of the Pythagorean theorem is null and void. Furthermore, students must learn that the Pythagorean theorem is for right triangles, parentheses, triangles with one 90-degree angle only. The Pythagorean is hypotenuse squared equals leg squared plus leg squared, or c squared equals a squared plus b squared. Related words: hypotenuse, legs, sides of a right triangle, opposite, adjacent, right angle, right triangle.